I feel like one of the main attractions of the modern day media is the spectacle. Whilst you, as a person, can't blow up an entire city, you can watch a villain completely destroy London by using an orbital laser. Or play a mission where you take control of an AC-130 and rain down hellfire on a group of Russian ultranationalists. The other main attraction is that we can see and experience things we normally can't. I can't afford a Lamborghini Countach, neither can I afford to race it at over 300 km per hour, but I can do it in something like Need for Speed. Due to gun laws, I can't just buy and fully kit out an FN FAL, but in Ready or Not, I can. And I get to be a part of a SWAT team as well. A genre that I feel often lacks the spectacle of Call of Duty is the racing genre. Not saying that it's mandatory, but it's insane how only 3 game series that people know of went for a more action movie spectacle approach. 2 of which are dead, and in the 3rd series the entry that went for a more spectacle approach was seen as a bad game, despite it being one of my favorites, or being dubbed underrated by some. But if MotorStorm were seen more as an adrenaline junkie experience, and Need for Speed The Run had an ad directed by Michael Bay and tried to go for an action movie story with its titular The Run, Split Second went all in on the explosive part of the spectacle. The game doesn't have a story or a plot, but it does have a narrative. We audition and participate in the first season of the explosive racing TV show Split Second. The game's tutorial is our addition to the show, where we are taught the game's unique mechanic, the power plays. After we join the show, we have a goal set to become the fastest racer and defeat the Elites, a group of 7 named racers with unique cars who are seen as the best racers on the grid. That's all, folks. Okay. The game does have an ending. After a thrilling final elite race in a spectacular season finale, we are celebrating, only for a mysterious broadcasting company to enter the set and set off all of the explosive we were using and cause chaos, and then it just says, "To be continued." There was a sequel in development, but with Split Second selling poorly, accompanied by Disney Interactive Studios' bleeding coffers, yes, the game was published by Disney of all people, the sequel was cancelled and the developer studio closed. But what could have been? From what concept arts and in-development gameplay there was left on the internet, it promised something greater. An actual plot, with us escaping the destruction caused by the broadcasting company, to whom I will refer as GG from now on due to their logo looking like 2 Gs to me. With concept art showing actual characters, on foot and boat racing sections, even a flashback race set in the 80s with some cars having art of their retro variants. And I could only guess that the plot would revolve around the rivalry between BRTV, the host of Split Second, and GG, who were probably competitors back in the day. Maybe reveal why exactly GG went off air in 1982, just like one of the characters mentions.
Can't be! Not after all this time! So if they went off air in 82,
Or show why exactly they're sabotaging the production of the modern day Split Second. But back to the game we have available to us. I feel like I have an idea on how the plot could be expanded. How about the game leans on its reality TV aspect, by introducing interviews with the different members of the filming crew or elite racers, either being completely serious or taking the piss out of the whole reality TV aspect, with characters being walking caricatures or stereotypes of their names and cars. Like Rig, the driver of a big SUV being this massive man of few words, or Livewire and Torpedo, the duo driving these Le Mans prototype looking vehicles, being adrenaline junkies who focus strictly on speed and etc. As well, to accompany the plotline of GG sabotaging the finale and the film crew being warned that GG will come back, how about around episode 6 or 7, have one of the interviews show a racer or a crew member discussing how they were intimidated to leave the show by someone, with the interviewers suddenly realizing that it might be GG and having to cut off the interview right then and there. Though, to be fair, what sounds good in concept could be terrible in practice, either ruining the game's pacing or doing a complete 180 shift tone-wise. Well, whilst we don't have a plot to speak of, and even then the majority of this section is either discussing the cancelled sequel or my speculations on how to add plot to the original, there is a solid gameplay foundation underneath it all.
The epic journey to being crowned season champion gathers pace. It's action all the way as the gates to the power plant are thrown open for the first time. Meanwhile, drivers are finally able to fight back against the chopper in all-new Air Revenge. With an exclusive car at stake for today's winning contestant, hold on to your seats because things are about to get even hotter.
With Split Second being an explosive racing show, there are high-speed racing and explosions abound. For the tutorial we learned about the power plays. After filling up a bar that is filled by drifting, drafting, having airtime, or passing by jumping, or drifting, or dodging rival power plays, you earn the ability to activate your own. These power plays have two tiers. Blue, which takes 1/3 of your bar, and red, which takes your entire bar. Blue power plays are your helicopter explosives, your fuel tanks set to blow, your temporary shortcuts or traps disguised as shortcuts. And your red ones are almost always track-altering massive spectacles. Want to add a corner? Just blow up an air traffic control tower. A long straight is too boring? Send a plane crashing down. Think that the start-finish straight needs some spice? Bring down an entire TV tower and take the track to the rooftops. Explosive generators included. But these explosives lack the randomness of something like MotorStorm or Mario Kart. That's thanks to the harmony between the gameplay and the setting. The power plays are set in specific spots and have a specific way of harming your opponents. Yes, you can take someone out by blowing up a fuel tank, but their cars might also start to spin uncontrollably and crash out. Blow up a conveniently placed set of cars and they will roll from the side of the street to the middle and turn into an obstacle. Shortcut traps are usually gas stations or gates that need to be opened before they close. Lowered bridges that eventually rise. Cooling towers that can be blown up to render the shortcut unusable. That's because it's a TV show. All of these traps are conveniently placed set pieces in the most literal sense of the word. They're not magical power-up cubes you pick up all of a sudden for you to decide when and how to use. And it's not an uncontrollable force of nature that alters the track's layout. But under the layer of explosions, there are multiple game modes spread across the 12 episodes with 6 races each. Race is your standard race of 3 or 2 laps with the aforementioned explosives. Finish first and you'll win. Elimination. A race where there are no lap counters but a timer. After 1 minute grace period, the last place is eliminated, and so for every subsequent last place every 20 seconds, until there is only one. Detonator. A time trial with a twist. Every power play is triggered to get you. Your goal is to set the fastest lap. Survival. A game mode where you have to overtake trucks carrying explosives. There is a timer. Blue barrels make you spin, red barrels eliminate you and reset your combo. Once the timer reaches 0, it is sudden death. All barrels are red and there's a constant stream of them. If you get hit, it's game over, so you either set the highest score or die trying. Airstrike. Detonator, but instead of power plays there's an attack helicopter flying on the track. Dodge missiles to earn points. Get hit by 3 missiles and you crash out. 3 strikes and you're out. Score the highest score or be eliminated. Air Revenge. Same premise, but now you can fire back on the bastard. Instead of score, you earn power plays. Blue is 1 missile, red is a salvo of 4 missiles. Your goal is to take the chopper down the fastest. Elite Race. The episode finale, the same as a normal race, but you face off the elites, which offer an additional challenge. Your goal is to score at least a podium finish. At the same time, all your positions have a score attached, and every episode finale the score is tallied up until the end of the season, where you might be crowned the official split-second champion. The game's intensity is accompanied by its soundtrack, especially in elite races with music aggressively ramping up when the race is getting too hard to handle. And in the case of the aforementioned elite races, blaring the game's main theme that hits incredibly hard in the final lap. Once you cross the finish line, the song culminates before cutting to this chorus that feels like it's relieved from the intensity of the race. Too bad the PC port of the game got butchered. For example, the sound effects and menus are extremely compressed, making it sound like it went through a deep fryer. And from what I've heard, there is a glitch in the PC version that completely breaks your save file if you don't complete episode 6 in one sitting. Unfortunately for such a gem, it was unfortunate enough to be released alongside its main competitor, Blur, only for both games to sell poorly and kill their development studios, BlackRock Studios and Bizarre Creations, and be outsold by a more literal Mario Kart clone in the form of Mod Nation Racers for the PS3. If these games were released today, I believe nothing would have changed. Maybe people would complain more that Split Second doesn't have real-life manufacturers, doesn't have advanced levels of customization with only select colors for vehicles, or a licensed soundtrack. Maybe even complain that the arcadey brake-to-drift driving mechanic that needs to be learned to utilize the full power of power plays. Alas, in the community misguided by back in my day and opinion equals fact, Split Second is a game that is appreciated post-mortem. Though to judge if it's as bad as I put it is up to you.